So this is our one-play review of Seers Catalog. So in Seers Catalog, you are a seer in the werewolf universe that Bezier has created, and you are trying to browse the Seers Catalog and get the best gear to go ahead and fight those werewolves that are going to be coming out, because you know they're around the corner. Now, how it works is you're going to have a hand of cards, and that is everything you want to buy from the Seers Catalog. But you can't afford everything. So you're going to have to whittle down your list to just the pure essentials. So how it works in-game is based on the number of players that you're going to be having. We had 2 players, so I'll tell you how the 2-player setup works. You're going to take 3 decks, which are the suits or colors, because there's just different colors for them. And in a 2-player game, you don't play with 11, 12, and 13 from each deck. So you only play with 2 through 10. So you're going to shuffle those up along with some artifacts. Every player gets a wild card. And you're going to shuffle those up and split those between all the players. Then, with your massive hand of cards, you're going to go ahead and start playing different tricks. And the different tricks are either sets, runs, or a single card. So a run of cards is going to be something like 5, 6, 7. Then your opponent has to beat that. So if I played, for example, the 5, 6, 7, my opponent would have to play at least 6, 7, 8 to beat that. And they all have to be the same color. With a set of cards, you would play, for example, like 3 3s, or you could play, 2 7s or something like that. And then your opponent has to beat that. So if I played, for example, the 2 7s, my opponent would have to play 2 of a number higher to beat that. And then the single cards are pretty easy. If I just throw down a 6, as long as you can play a 7, 8, or 9 or higher, you beat that. And if you win the trick, that gives you the opportunity to go first on the next turn. Now, something interesting is that if you're ever down to less than 6 cards, you have this little token in front of you saying, hey, I have 6 cards. If you have less than 6 cards, you have to flip over this card. Now you're considered to be in bonus. And when you're in bonus, you can't pass. So before, if somebody's playing down something and you kind of like, oh, I want to keep these cards, you can pass. But once you're in bonus, you can't pass anymore. So then you have to strategize about what you want to try to play and get rid of and everything. Now, what's interesting, because this being a card shedding game, is that you don't want to be the first person to go out. First person to go out is always going to score 0. So everybody else will then score what they have in their hand. You'll score the lowest value that you have minus the number of cards in your hand. So for example, let's just say you had 4, 7, and 9 in your hand. So you'd score 4 points because that's your lowest value card. And then you have 3 cards, you subtract 3, so you only got 1 point for that round. You go ahead and play 4 rounds, and whoever has the highest cumulative score is the winner of the game. Now, our thoughts of this. Will's not here, he had to be at work, but I wanted to pass along some of his thoughts and, of course, my thoughts. So, we went into this game thinking a trick-taking game, which it is not. You play tricks, you win tricks, but it's not quite how the game works. As I said before, this is a card shedding game. So this is all about getting rid of cards, but you want to keep your highest value cards. So it's a little wonky to get into, but once it kind of clicks, you kind of understand what's going on with it. So that takes a little bit to understand. Don't go into this. It is not trick-taking, it is card shedding. Will didn't particularly like this one. He was like, I don't know if I want to play that again, I'm not sure. He said that if he wanted to play a game where you're playing down like sets and pairs and all that kind of stuff, he'd rather play something like Phase 10. Now, I wasn't that harsh on it. I think it's an interesting game, but the theme does not matter. I mean, the artwork in the game is beautiful. You're not looking at the artwork. You're looking at the numbers. So the fact that, all the green cards have like the werewolf game on it, you know, or they have some other games like One Night Ultimate Werewolf on here. It doesn't matter. So you're not actually worrying about, you know, some like silver bullets. You're worrying about that's a 4. So the theme doesn't really mean anything in this game. I did like the artifacts that are in the game, because you have a whole bunch of artifacts and you're going to have some random ones in your game. You're never going to use all of them, but you have a few random ones, and they kind of throw in some interesting stuff. So there's always like a go first, which is right here. So you have this little hand of go first. So this will basically make you always go first on the next turn, whether you win or lose. And then this also is a 1 of any suit. So this you can use for a run, so you can have like 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty interesting. And then one of my favorite cards is this half card. So this is plus half. So if my opponent had played a 7, I could throw this down and beat it because it's considered to be 7.5. So this makes the previously played single card plus half. So that's pretty interesting. And there's some other cards in there. They actually give you a little booklet here that goes through and explains a little bit more detail about what each one does, with a little thing on the back. This is very handy because some of the cards aren't exactly clear as to what they do from just our text on there. But I'm going to try to get this to the table with some more players just to see how it works with a little bit more. But this one might be a dust collector on my shelf. I'm just not sure if I can get Will to play it again, or if the lack of theme is going to make people excited to play this. But that's our opinion. Let us know what you think down below of this game. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and support Cloak and Meeple. All of my links are down below. And thanks for watching.